Prepare for takeoff, everybody, because today I'm bringing you the absolute craziest build tutorial that I've ever done here on this channel, and that is the ZETA Class Shuttle right here in LEGO Fortnite. Now, this thing took me forever, but so many of you asked for it, and I'm a man of my word, so that's exactly what you're going to get today. And if you notice here from these shots, one of the special things about this is you cannot see the balloons anywhere on the exterior or even on the inside. So buckle up, and I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Be sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here and enjoy LEGO Fortnite build tutorials, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we've got so many on the channel and plenty more to come. And yes, on this channel, we always give materialists, and so you know what that means. Oh, this one really hurts. Use code Haskins in the item shop if you end up building this, please. Thank you. That was by far the hardest materialist to gather, so here it is. So here is a shot of the inventory list you will need, give or take a few pieces, because I'm going to be honest with you, it was very hard to gather all of that stuff. So this is going to be pretty close to what you're going to need. So be prepared if you're in survival or expert. If you're in sandbox, it's not going to matter. Pause the screen if you need to, and make sure you have these materials. With that being said, let's get right into the build. All right, to get this build started, we're going to go to toys and vehicle parts and grab a large car jack, and we're going to go ahead and place that down. Now we're going to filter our build menu down to the first order set, and we're going to make our way over to building parts and floors. And we're going to grab the 16 by 16 by 1 Star Killer floor 6A. We're going to snap this right on top. We're going to nudge it on over until we have 2 of the studs over there off to the right hand side exposed. We're going to place 4 of these down. We're going to place 4 more attached on the right side. Then we're going to take the 8 by 8 by 1s, and you can do this on either the front or the back. It doesn't really matter, but we're going to snap 4 of these across here. Then we're going to go on over to the 16 by 2 by 1s. We're going to place 2 of them lined up with the front. Next, we're going to come around to one of the corners of this platform we just put in, and we're going to take any one of the 2 by 2 by 12s. I'm going to place it right in the corner here. It doesn't matter which color we're using. This is only for directional building. We're going to line up with the corner, and we're going to just nudge it in 2 spaces just like that. Then from here, we're going to go to our toys and controls. And we're going to use a pressure plate. And we're going to place this pressure plate on the outside just like this. Leave yourself some room between the bottom platform and where you place it. And then from here, what we're going to do is go into building parts under the thin floors. And I recommend using a 16 by 2 by 1 for this, just to give yourself a little bit of room here. And we're just going to nudge this down till we're right underneath the pressure plate there and snap it in. If you're having trouble, I just want to reiterate where you're aiming at is you're going to be pretty much putting your pointer right where the black part of that pressure plate is. And once you've got that into place, we're going to take another couple of these 16 by 2 by 1s. We're going to snap them in just like that. Next, we're going to want to grab a 2 by 2 by 12 wall piece. Now, if you look over at the completed version, the accurate from Star Wars is going to be requiring you to use some kind of brown. So if you don't have that, though, what I recommend doing, and quite honestly might even look actually better, is these first order wall 1Bs. So go ahead and shop around. If you don't have anything that's brown that you want to use, or you just want to go with something gray to match the rest of the ship, go ahead and use the 2 by 2 by 12 first order wall. Now, for me personally, I like to use the Fortnite Forever Festival set. So if you have that, there are actually some 2 by 2 by 12s. You've got the one with a little bit of the different color design on it, but this time around, I'm actually going to go with the melodical wall corner here that's like a solid color. And what we're going to do with this, we're just going to put it right against this thin floor that we put down. We're going to nudge it over until we actually can't anymore, and then we're going to bring it forward one. We're going to bring it down all the way till we're touching the floor, and then we're going to just nudge this out one more. And you'll see the position here. It's lined up with the outside edge of the floors below it, and then it's just nudged out one space. And we're just going to go over here and do the exact same thing. Next, with the same 2 by 2 by 12, and again, we're going to do this on both sides. We're going to snap right on top of this one here, and we're going to nudge it towards this one. And then we're going to snap one more on top of that, and as well here, we're going to nudge it forward one. Then we're going to stack 3 more directly on top of that without any nudging forward. And then we're going to repeat that same thing over here on the other side. Again, snapping in. First one, we're going to nudge forward. Second one, we're going to also nudge forward one, and then 3 more on top without nudging at all. Next, we're going to complete this entire wall until we reach this last one here, and that's just simply done by just snapping into each one of these for each one of the sections. We're going to make sure that they're all lined up directly how we did before, and just continue to do this on both sides until you have it completed all the way to the back. Next, under the first order build kit and building parts, we're going to go ahead and go down here to the first order wall L4. And we're just going to snap these all the way on top of these until we reach the back. We're going to do that on both sides. Next, with the same wall, we're going to put another layer of these over top both the right and left sides. And the easiest way to get them lined up is to snap one in here on the outside, nudge it forward one, and now you're going to have this little bit to connect to. We're just going to bring it down and over. Then from here we can continue to snap in. We're going to do this on both sides. Once you're completed with both sides, we can go ahead and clean these up. So let's get rid of the walls that are hanging off the front. And then let's also clean up some of these pieces here that we put down to flip our walls. Next, on the side where you have these studs facing forward like this, we're going to go over into our floor pieces and grab the 12 by 2 by 1 first order floor 5. And we're going to line it up directly with that brown part right here. Make sure you're on the outside edge, and then we're going to place 4 more on the inside. And then we're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Now on the outside edges here, we're going to break these pieces out. And again, you should be left with 4 12 by 2 by 1s in total on both the right and left side. Now let's just attach another set of the 12 by 2 by 1s over top on both the right and left sides. Now back in our first order wall menu, we've got the first order wall corner 2A. What we're going to do with this is we're actually going to snap into the top of these walls here, and we're going to place it down. We want to make sure that this front end here is flush with the outside walls. And then what we're going to do is we're going to run these all the way towards the back of the ship, and we're going to do this on both sides. Then with those same walls, we're going to be aiming at these thin floors we had here on the outside. We're going to rotate it to where our angle is facing up to the kind of right corner there. We're going to bring this to line it up with the top of the thin floor and the outside edge on the right. And then from there, we're just going to nudge it over to the left 2 spaces and place it down. And you can see we only have 1 thin floor peeking out from the right side of that wall, and we're lined up with the top. We're going to do the same thing over here on the other side, only this time we want our angle facing the opposite direction. Next, with this first order wall L4 we've been using all along, we're going to go right underneath this piece and we're going to snap it on the inside. Just rotate to make sure that your design, that little notch in, is facing outward. We're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Now we're going to grab the first order wall 1s, the 2 by 2 by 12s, and we're going to snap 3 of these underneath on both sides. Now we're going to take some 16 by 2 by 1 first order thin floors, and we're going to place this right here. Just make sure you have some hanging off the edge. And then we're going to snap a couple more in here. Back to toys and controls, we're going to grab another pressure plate, and we're going to place it right here on the underside of these thin floors we put in. We're going to do this over here on both sides. Then in the walls section from the first order build kit, we've got the first order wall tapered. Now this is one of the 2 by 2 by 12 corners there. The placement for this, we're going to come right underneath here. We're We're going to aim right where that meets the outside of that, or the inside of that floor. And we're going to get this orientation to where it's flipped the other way. Now we're going to rotate to where that angle's facing down and to the left. And we're going to bring this piece down and we're going to go directly under that wall in thin floor. And the way you can tell when you have it in the right spot is if you nudge up and you can't go and place it down, just bring it down one and go ahead and nudge it over to the right 2 spaces. We're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Now this time though, we're going to rotate to where the angle is facing down and to the right. And same thing we did before. Let's go ahead and make contact with the wall and then bring it in towards the left 2 spaces and snap it in. Next, let's just clean up these thin floors that we placed down. I'm going to take another one of these first order tapered corners that we just used. We're going to snap into the ones we placed down, but we want to rotate to where the angle is facing the exact same direction as the ones we put in previously. But then this time we're just going to nudge it up 4 spaces. And we're going to do the same thing over here on the right side. Next, we're going to take another one of the first order wall L4s and we're going to snap it right into the one behind it here. We just want to make sure that we're lined up completely with it. We're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. And then once you've got this in, what we're going to do next is we're going to go back up here to the first order wall 1, the 2x2x12. And we're going to snap one right in underneath on both sides. From here, we're going to take another first order wall corner 2. It's basically the same pieces that we're attaching into right now. We're going to want to make sure that these are lined up, but we're going to place one right here. We're going to place another one on the other side. Now with another first order wall, we have the Star Killer wall tapered 1A. What we're going to do with this is on the inside here, we're going to snap this in and we're going to rotate it to make sure that the angle is facing downward, just like it is on the outside. And we're going to snap 2 of these in side by side. We're going to do the same thing over here on the left. Now with our first order wall tapered 4, this is the 6x8x12 wall. What would be nice is if we could just snap in here, but as you can see, the angle is opposing to the angle we need. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to aim right at this thin floor piece sticking out here. This is going to give us the right angle. We're going to bring this up a bit and we're going to nudge it over until we can place it down. And then next what we'll do is we'll snap right into that piece. We're going to bring it on over and we're going to bring it down till we're lined up directly with this angled piece right here. Then we're going to take another one of these and we're going to snap it in here and we're going to nudge it on over to the right. And once we make contact with that outside wall, we're going to snap that in. Now using the previous walls we used, which is the 2x2x12 Star Killer wall tapered 1A, we're going to actually snap into the ones that we've used right here. It's going to bring it out forward. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up and we're just going to put this right in the center of these 2 pieces that we just put down. Now that those walls are set, let's go ahead and clean this one up. We don't need that anymore. Then down in the half walls here in the first order section, we have the 4x16x6 half wall tapered. What we're going to do with this is we're just going to aim at one of the walls right here. We're going to bring this on over into the middle. We're going to bring this up until we are pretty much lined up with the bottom parts of this wall. Then from here, we're going to move on over to the first order half wall tapered, the 4x4x6. And we're just going to snap one in on the left side and over here on the right. Now over here on the left side of the front, we're going to go into our walls and grab the 2x2x12 corner from first order. And we're going to snap these right underneath this overhang here. We're going to put one more right behind it. Then let's come around to the right side and we're going to do the exact same thing. Next, we're going to go back to the pressure plates under the toys and controls section. And we're going to bring this on this wall here. And now we want to bring it as far back as we can. This like left side of this pressure plate here has to be touching those thin floors, or that you can call it a wall behind it. You want to do the same thing over here on the other side. Again, let's make sure that when you place this down, that there's no gap between the back end of it and the wall behind it. Now let's filter back to first order and come into our floor section. And we're going to take a 16x2x1 floor. And what we're going to do is we're going to aim right at the part of the pressure plate that's meeting the wall. And we're going to bring this all the way up to the front as far as we can go. We're going to place it down. This gets tricky, so you're going to want to have a little bit of this hanging off. So then next what we're going to do is we're going to take another 16x2x1 and we're just going to have this attached to the back of that floor. and we're going to bring this down. It doesn't really matter. You don't want to bring it all the way back, but it doesn't matter. It don't have to be flush or anything. Just attach behind it, just like this. And then next what we'll do is we'll go to the 8x2x1. We're going to snap directly into that 16x2x1 we just placed. And then we're going to nudge this as far back as we can go. Now, once that turns red, go ahead and nudge it forward one and place it down. Then you can clean up your pressure plate. You can also get rid of these two floor pieces here. Then go back to your 16x2x1. And then we're just going to snap in to the 8x2x1 that we just placed down. Now let's repeat this on the other side. So let's run through this one more time. We're going to take our 16x2x1. You should already have your pressure plate set. We're going to aim right where it meets the wall. We're going to rotate this and bring it all the way as far forward as we can go. Now you may need to nudge it up one to make it actually snap in. Now the issue here though is you can see we don't have anything hanging off the edge. All you need to do is take another floor piece and snap that in. Now you have somewhere to aim at. We'll grab the 16x2x1. We're just going to place this right on the inside, and then we can remove this. We can also remove this and our pressure plate. Now let's go back to the 8x2x1. We're going to snap in, bring it all the way back until we make contact with the wall. Nudge forward one. Now let's remove the 16x2x1 and re-add it attached to the 8x2x1 right here. Now over in the first order roof section, we have the first order trimmed curve 4A. It's got the little light gray piece. There's also another one here, but that's going to be for the right side. So we're going to use this one with the light gray on it. And what we're going to do is that floor piece we just put down, we're going to aim right at the outside of that floor piece, just like that. This is a bit tricky, so just be patient. And we're going to nudge this thing all the way forward until it turns green. Now you want a little bit of that gray, or actually it's the entire gray, light gray piece hanging down like this. Now we're going to take those same exact pieces and we're going to snap this in to the piece we just put in, but we want to bring it down a little bit. So we're going to bring it here and we're going to create this gradual angle. We're going to continue to attach these in and nudge them down as you're seeing right now until we get all the way and make contact with this back wall. Then with that same piece here on the front end, we're going to snap in. We're going to nudge this up 2 spaces, and that'll be the last one we do. And we're going to repeat this over here on the other side. So let's do that one more time. Only this time, though, we're going to go to the opposite angle piece, which is the Star Killer trim curved. Same thing here. Aim right at the front of that floor piece there. Again, take your time. We want to make sure it's lined up properly. Then we're going to rotate it. Let's bring it forward. Then from here, we're going to snap in again. We're going to nudge down twice. So 1, 2, snap in. Same thing here, nudge down twice. And this will be our last one because we're going to make contact with the wall behind it. And then one more here up front. Now back to the first order floors. We're going to take a 16x2x1 here. We're going to go ahead and snap this into the floors above it. We're going to fill in these gaps here so we can fit the 16 there, and now we can go to the 8x2x1 and snap that in right below it. Now let's go over here on the other side and do the exact same thing. Now we're going to come to the center on the front. We're going to start to close this up a bit. And what we're going to do is let's remove our first order filter. We're going to go to building parts and foundations. We're going to use the granite ones. We're going to start with the 4x16x2 granite foundation 2. And what we're going to do is come around here. Actually, it's a little bit better of an angle. We want to put this center on this wall here. We're going to bring it as far forward as we can so where we're flush. And we're going to bring this up and place it down. Let's go ahead and stack one more on top. We can come back around this way. We're going to take the 4x4x2 granite foundation 1. I'm going to put one of these, actually 2 of these on this side, and then we're going to do 2 more on this side. And you know what? Let's go ahead and add another set of those right on top here. So let's center up the 4x16x2, and then let's take another one of the 4x4x2s on the left and another one here on the right. And my apologies, but we have to do this a lot. We're going to filter back to first order build kit and make our way over to the roof section. And this first item here, which is the first order trim 1A, we're going to take that. We're going to aim right at these exposed studs here on this wall. And then we're going to rotate this to where the back end that's flat completely covers up that gap. We're going to come on over here and do the same thing on the other side. Then we're gonna go ahead and take that same exact piece just above the ones we just put in. Let's go ahead and rotate that again to where the back end that's flat is going to be facing outward. We're gonna put 3 more of these in front of that one. So that'd be 2, and then 3. And then let's do the same exact thing over here on the left side. Next, we're going to use a similar piece, but instead of this one we just used, it's going to be this one here, which has a little notch in the rounded corner. And what we're going to do is we're just going to follow the same process. We're going to aim at these studs at that wall behind it. We're going to rotate it though this time to where the actual curved edge and those little like notches are facing outward. Now I know it's getting dark here, but it's pretty simple to follow, so I'll try to brighten this image up the best I can. But we're just going to stack 4 of these on top. Let's just make sure that every single one of them is touching one another, and we're going to go over here on the other side and do the exact same thing. Now, I realized we could have done this earlier, but completely forgot. We got to take some more of these granite foundation pieces, but this time we're going to snap into the ones we just put down. We're only going to put 2 of these. This is going to save on weight from the number of pieces that we're placing in. Then we're going to do the same thing here, the 4x4x2s on the sides. Now we're going to take another one of the 4x16x2 foundation pieces, but this time we're going to nudge it over, and we want this left side edge to line up directly with the outside of this wall right here underneath it. Then we'll take a 4x4x2. I'm going to place it here. I'm going to stack another layer of those right on top. And then from here, we're going to be taking the 12x2x1s and the 8x2x1s. And our first layer is going to be just above that wall below those pieces. We're actually going to just put it right on top of the foundation pieces. And we're going to stack this 4 high. So like I said, you're skipping this wall underneath it. We're starting just above that, just covering up the studs of the foundation pieces. Then we'll take the 8x2x1s. We'll stack 4 more of these here. And then we're going to stack 2 more layers this time, but we're going to offset by putting the 8x2x1s on this side this time. But instead of starting here, we're actually going to start on the next floor piece. So if you line up with the bottom, you just nudge up twice. That's our starting point. So we'll put 3 covering there. We're going to do the same thing with the 12x2x1. Just stack these, or I should say snap them into the right-hand side. And we're going to do that one more time here. Now this time we're going to bring the 12x2x1s over. And we're going to skip, again, this floor piece. We're not going to stack. We're only going to do 2 of them here. And then go back on over to the 8x2x1s. And place them down. And now you can see we're starting to create this, not like a complete gradual step up, but pretty harsh of a step up, but that's going to get us the shape that we need for this front end. Now back in the roof section, we're going to use the Star Killer Trim Curve 4 again. These are the same pieces we use here on the side for this angle. But this time we're going to make our way towards the inside, and we're going to stack 2 of these in here. And then we're going to move on over to the opposite angle one, the first order trim curved. We're going to put 2 right here. Now, last time I built this thing was not a problem. It did not get in the way, but on this build it is. So what we're going to do is we're just going to scrap it. Let's knock out these foundation pieces because they are completely screwing me up, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And yeah, neither should you. Next, back to toys and controls, grab a pressure plate. And right here on this little wall here that we have with all those little roof pieces we put down, we're going to stack it on the one closest to this wall right here. And you want to make sure that the back end of this pressure plate is lined up perfectly in front of the studs of that wall. Now let's take a 12x2x1 first order floor 5. We're going to aim right at where the pressure plate meets that wall, and we're going to rotate it. Let's bring this as far forward as we can. Now once you get here, it's going to turn red. Just bring it back one, because what we're going to do next is we're going to come underneath it, and we're going to take another 12x2x1. We're going to rotate it, but we're going to bring it forward one nudge, and as far over as we can. We want to make contact with the outside of this wall here. And then once you've got that into place, let's go ahead and remove this piece and also remove our pressure plate. Now with the 12x12x1 first order floor 5, we're just going to go ahead and snap one into that floor piece we just put down, and then another one right next to it. Now we're going to take a 16x2x1. We're going to snap into these floors here. We're going to bring it all the way over as far as we can when we make contact with that wall. We're going to snap it down. We're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. And then from here, we're going to take a 12 by 2 by 1, snap into those floors we just put down. And then you're going to be left with this little small gap here. What we can do is take a 16 by 2 by 1 right on the inside here on this thin floor. And we're going to bring this up, lined up directly with the top to fill in that gap there, and do the same thing over here on the other side. Now let's leverage our 16 by 16 by 1 floor piece. We're going to snap this in and we're going to bring it on over. You'll see we have 2 full studs worth of space on the right side. So we're going to put one like this, and then we're going to offset this one for weight distribution over here to the right. And then we could take our 16 by 2 by 1s, and we're going to fill in the gaps here. Now let's go back to these 16 by 16 by 1s, and we're going to bring one all the way over here to the right hand side. Snap another one in here. Now this time we'll snap into the left, bring it all the way to the left, snap over the right. We're going to continue this pattern of offsetting all the way until we reach the back. Now once you get to this back section, you can see if you put a 16 by 16 in, you'll be hanging over completely. Nobody likes a hangover. Haven't dropped that line in quite a while. So to avoid said hangover, you're going to be using the 16 by 2 by 1s. We're just going to snap 3 of these in. We're not going to really worry about the offsetting for this part. Now we can make our way back towards the front, and we're just going to fill in all these gaps that you're seeing here. Starting with these front little corners, we can take the 8 by 2 by 1. Now, I don't recommend trying to use snap mode here. Just aim at the side of the floor behind it and place it down. Sometimes trying to snap mode here where there's no snap points is very frustrating. So next we'll take these 16 by 2 by 1s, and we should be able to snap these in and just fill in all these gaps on the side. And once you got that there, we're going to go ahead and fit I think a 6 in here. So let's take a 6 by 2 by 1 and cap it off. Now let's work on the back of the ship. We're going to start by taking the first order wall L4, the 2 by 8 by 12, the one we use on the sides for this entire build. And we're going to stack 2 more here and 2 more on this side. Then with our 2 by 2 by 12 first order walls, we're going to come right underneath the walls that we just put down, but we're going to want to attach this to the outside one. And we're going to place 2 of these directly underneath each other. And then from here, we're going to do 2 more, but this time we're going to nudge it in one for this. And then we're going to do the same thing here, and we're going to nudge it in one. And now we're going to go on down to the first order wall tapered, the 2 by 2 by 12. We used these earlier in the video in the front. We're going to snap this right underneath this one. We're going to nudge it forward as far as we can. Once that turns red, just nudge it back one and place it down. And then come on over here to the other side and repeat those steps. Again, let's go back to the 2 by 2 by 12s. We're going to snap in to the outside wall. Let's do 2 of them. Then we're going to nudge this one in and nudge in this last one and back to our tapered wall. Snap it in to the bottom piece, nudge forward till it's red, and then back one and place it down. Now with that same exact tapered wall, we're going to go up top here and we're going to snap into the inside wall this time and place it down. I'm going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Now we're going to use another pressure plate and place it right here on this back wall. Then we're going to go back to the first order kit. And down in the half wall section here, we have a couple of different walls we're going to be using. We're going to start with this first order half wall tapered. We're going to aim right at where the pressure plate is, meeting the wall. And then we're going to bring this thing on up. And now, if you're lined up with the... Man, getting the angles on this is so hard for the tutorial. Oh my gosh, I hope y'all appreciate these. We're going to line up directly here, line up with that outside wall, and then we're just going to nudge it in one. And we want to bring this up till we're flush with the top of this piece here. So you can see it's almost like a continuation of the angle itself. Then we're going to go back down here and grab the Star Killer half wall tapered, the 4 by 8 by 6 with that little vent on it. We're going to attach it here. Then we're going to grab the 4 by 16 by 6 and flip it, make sure the angles are all aligned. And then we're going to take another one of these with the vent that we just put in, rotate it on this side, and then we're going to cap it off with the 4 by 4 by 6 first order half wall tapered. And just one more look to show you how you should be lined up here. You've got a little bit of this part right here hanging off to the left. You should have the same exact amount here on the right. And then again, just make sure that this like top edge that I'm walking across right now is lined up directly with the end of these angles here. If you're looking like that, we're good to move on. And if you're this far into the tutorial, I really appreciate you guys sticking around. If you'd be so kind, consider using creator code Haskins in the item shop. And also, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we got plenty more tutorials coming. Again, thank you so much, you guys, for sticking around for this one. It's a long build. Now let's remove our pressure plate here. Then we're going to stay in this half wall section. Now you could use the first order half wall tapered, the blank one, or you can even go with these if you want a little bit more detail. I personally am going to stick with the one with less detail. We're going to snap one right here. We're going to do another one right here underneath this one on the other side. And then we'll go back to the tapered corners. Now make sure you rotate these to where the design in the corner is facing kind of to the outside there. And we'll do another one right here on this side. Now to fill in the inside, we're going to use the same pattern we used above, which is going to be starting with the 4x8x6. Then we're going to go to the 4x16x6. And then lastly, we're going to go back to the 4x8x6 and complete this little box here. Now let's make our way up top here. And we're going to create an angled floor, kind of following the line of this angled wall right here. And we're going to start by using the 8x8x1s. We're going to bring it as far over as we can go. And we're going to snap these in until we reach the other side. And then once you get here, you're going to actually have to use an 8x2x1 and place it down. Now let's drop down to the inside of the ship. And right underneath where we just placed that last floor piece, we're going to take another 8x8x1. This time we're going to line it up with the outside edge of those floors, and we're going to nudge it forward 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. Then we're going to snap in 3 more. And cap it off with an 8x2x1. Yo, it's a party. Thank you so much for the sub, Rim. Let's go. Sorry for the interruption, but we had to throw that in there. So what we're going to do next is take the 8x8x1, and just where we ended up, we're going to bring it just as far forward as we can and then nudge it back. Same thing here. We're going to add 3 more of the 8x8x1s. And then again, we'll go back to the 8x2x1 and finish this off. Then to close up this opening here, we're going to take these 16x2x1s and we're going to snap them in here on the back. We're going to place 2 of them connected directly to each other. And then what we're going to do next is we're actually going to put this one and have it step up there directly behind that one. And for each one until we reach the back of this angled wall we're pointing at right now, we're going to continue to stack these and nudge it back 2 spaces, creating this step up. Now, once you get here on this 4th step up, you can stop. And then all we need to do now is with the same pieces, we're just going to go ahead and snap into the ones we just put down, follow that same step up pattern until we reach and complete the back here. Now you can see here that there is some light bleeding through, and so to sturdy this back end up and also cover up that light bleeding through, we're going to take some more 16x2x1s, and we're just going to line these up against the floor pieces that we put down so we can cover that up. We're just going to mirror the same exact step pattern we did before. So let's continue to snap these in until we get right here, and then we're complete. Now let's go back into the first order wall section. We're going to get the 2x16x12 first order wall 6A. We're going to stack this up here. We want to rotate it to where the lighter color is facing towards the inside. We're going to bring this as far over to the left as we can and as far back as we can go. And then we're just going to snap one more in over here on the right side. And then up above here, we want to close in this gap. All we need to do for that is we're going to go to the granite foundations here and grab the 4x16x2. And we're just going to snap this right on top of the wall and nudge back 2 spaces. And we're going to place 2 of these side by side. Now you do have these little holes on the left and right hand side of the wall here. If you want to cover those up, all you need to do is go in your first order fences. You take the 1x1x2 railing. You can just go ahead and line this up with the outside of the wall and just nudge it over and just bring it down as far as you can to close in the gap. Let's do that on the right side and then do the same thing over here on the left. Now there's still a lot to do on the outside, but since we're in the inside, let's be efficient. We're going to take the vehicle base 3s here in the car parts of toys, and we're going to aim right at the roof here, and we're going to tuck this as far back. Now this is the back left corner of the ship, mind you. We're going to place one down right here, and we're going to create an entire line working our way towards the front. And we're going to continue to snap one in until we can no longer place these in. And once we reach the front, we're going to repeat this exact same thing on the other side. Once the right and left sides are completely lined with vehicle base 3s, we're going to go in the front section of the ship as well and do the exact same thing. The only thing is we don't want to go past this wall here. We don't want to intrude into that space. We're going to go right behind that wall as a guide. Then we're going to continue to do the same thing. We're going to bring these all the way until we reach that thin floor there. Now, once you put in this last one, you can't put in another one. We're just going to do the exact same thing here on the other side. Now let's make our way out to the front of the ship, and right underneath these floor pieces where we have this gap, we're going to go over into the first order kit under the roof section again, and we're going to grab the first order trim 4A, the 2x8x2. We're going to place this right underneath, and we're going to bring it all the way forward until you can't see any of the pieces of the floor underneath, and then we're going to nudge it over one. And then from here, we're just going to snap 2 more in, and then underneath this, we're going to take a pressure plate, and we're going to snap this in right on the underneath side, and we're going to flip the same pieces and line them up, and we're just going to put another strip of these directly underneath. Now once you get in the second one, we're going to have to come over here and remove this pressure plate so we can put in the third one. And we're good to go. Now head over to fences and grab the 1x1x2 first order railing 1, and we're just going to tuck these right underneath the floor there in the corners to close up the gaps. Now we're going to begin the detailing process of the top of the ship, and the way we're going to do this is go over to our floor pieces in first order. We're going to start with a 12x2x1, and we're going to line it up all the way directly with the front here. We're going to bring it on over. Now we do not want to cover up these black pieces here, so we're going to stop there. Then we're going to take an 8x2x1, snap in here, and then finally a 6x2x1. And then right behind the ends of these, we're going to take 16x2x1s and drop these in on both sides. And we're going to snap in 1 more on each side. And as you can see, we're just creating an outline with leaving those kind of like angled pieces open. We're going to finish this off with an 8x2x1. And then from here, we'll go with the 6x2x1s on both sides. And now from here, we're just going to avoid covering up these walls with the black details on them. So we can go back to our 16x2x1s, and we're going to run these all the way down on both sides until we reach the back. And now once we get to the point where this is kind of going over that step down there, you don't want to use a 16x2x1. We're going to use an 8x2x1 and a 6x2x1. Let's do the same thing over here on the other side. So 16s. We're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 16s in. Then back to the 8x2x1 and 6x2x1. And then we're just going to close up this gap here, starting with a 16x2x1 all the way to the back. I think we can get an 8 and a 6 in here. So let's go 8 and then a 6x2x1. And as you can see here, we've just now created a nice outline on the top of the ship. And again, just leaving all these like angled walls on the outside edges exposed. So I know I went fast there. Take your time. It's pretty easy to accomplish. So feel free to pause the video if you need to. But here's just another look at what we've done. So let's get that done and finish out the detailing. Now on the front of the ship, we're going to grab the Starkiller Trim Curved 4. We've used this before. It's in the roof section. We're going to rotate this and bring it all the way back to the floor piece we're standing on. And then we're going to nudge it over to the left here. We're going to find this corner. From here, we're going to nudge to the right 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place it down. And then we're going to take the opposing angle and do the same thing over here on the other side. Now we're going to take the 8x2x1 floor pieces, and we're just going to place 2 of these in the center to fill in the gap. Feel free to rotate them to offset those little squares. Then with the 4x4x1 black first order floor piece, we're going to line it up directly in front of the pieces that we just put down. And then we're just going to nudge it over to the left one and forward 2. And then we're going to snap another one into that one. And then we're going to nudge to the right 1, 2 spaces and place it down. Now with the 8x2x1 first order floor, we're going to snap into the center of those black floors that we just put down here. We're going to nudge it forward 2 spaces, and we're going to place it down. We're going to snap in 3 more. So that would be 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you have the Mos Eisley set, what I do recommend doing here is going on over to the decorations and rugs. And we have this Tatooine square rug. For these, I like to place 2 right up the center here on the pieces we just put down. So you can place these next to each other. And then I also like to place one pretty much close to the front here on top of that piece. Now back to our first order roof pieces. We have the Star Killer and first order trim curved. We're going to start here on the left with the first order trim curved. We're going to flip this like this, and we're going to meet the corner of this thin floor border that we put on. And you want to have your angle facing to the right side there. We're going to stack two of these on top of each other. Now, sometimes stacking them is kind of challenging, so I recommend if it's not working, go back to your build menu and then place the piece. Then we're going to do the same thing over here with the opposing angle. Let's meet the corner and have the angle this time facing into the right. We're going to stack one more on top of that piece. And then go to our floors and grab a 16 by 2 by 1, and we're going to meet the front of this piece and line it up. We're going to stack two there, and the same thing over here on the other side. Let's take another 16 by 2 by 1, and we're going to line it up to where the back edge closest to us right now is touching the point of that angle. And then we're going to nudge it to the right one space. We're going to do the same thing over here, but this time we're going to nudge it to the left one space. And then on the ends of these, we're going to grab the 8 by 2 by 1. Well, that was weird. We're going to snap one in on both sides. And then we're going to take another 8 by 2 by 1 and outline the front here and the back. Our next piece is going to come from the Mos Eisley set. However, if you don't have this, you can recreate these stacking 3 8 by 2 by 1 thin floors from your first order set. But if you do have it, we're going to come on over to fences, and we're going to grab the 2 by 8 by 2 tattooing fence 2. We're going to line it up directly with the front of this box that we just put in using thin floors. We're going to nudge the first one back a space, place it down. Then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to come all the way against the piece we just put down. And we're going to nudge back 1, 2 spaces. We're going to continue to do this until we reach the back. Now on the right side, we're going to take the first order trim curved piece from the roofs. We're going to bring this right here on the outside, and we're going to stack two of these on top of each other. And then over here on the left side, we're going to use the opposing angle, first our Star Killer trim curved, and we're going to place that right here. Now using our 16 by 2 by 1 first order floor, we're going to go ahead and attach on the outside edge of this outline we've been creating. We're going to put two on top of each other. Then we're going to go to the 12 by 2 by 1s, and we're going to snap these in, stacking them too high. And then we're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. So again, 16 by 2 by 1, and then the 12 by 2 by 1. Our next piece is also going to be a Mos Eisley fence piece, which is the Tatooine fence corner 8 by 8 by 2. However, if you don't have these, just like I said before, you can replicate these by stacking some of the first order thin floors. But if you do have them, what we're going to do is we're going to go right here into the corner. We're going to go as far forward as we can. And once we turn this thing red, let's nudge it forward one and over to the right one. We're going to place it down and snap another one in over here on the right side. And then we're going to repeat that. We're going to find the edge here and as far back as we can go. Then we're going to nudge back one and over one to the right and snap one in. We're going to do that one last time here. Next, with our 8 by 2 by 1 floors, we're going to come behind those pieces that we just put in, and we're going to stack this up too high. We just want to make sure that that creates a nice 90 degree there. We're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. And then from here, we can go back to these first order trim curved roof pieces. And we're going to place one right here on the back with the angle facing towards the left. And we're going to stack a second one on top. And let's do the same thing over here on the right side with the opposing angle. Now with our 6 by 2 by 1s, we're going to go ahead and line up directly in front of those pieces we just put down. And we're going to stack two high. And then we're going to take a 8 by 2 by 1, and we're going to run one the opposite direction, touching these outsides here, just like that. Now we're going to begin adding our wings, and we're going to start on the right side when looking from the front of the ship. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to take a pressure plate, and we're going to go directly in the middle between these two black stripes here on the side. We're going to bring it up to where the top of the pressure plate is pretty much right where that angle stops. You can see there. Then we're going to go to our walls section and grab the first order half wall tapered, which is the 4x2x6. And the correct placement for this is we're going to go ahead and aim where the pressure plate meets the wall. And you can see there, we want the angle facing down to the ground. And we want the top lined up with, again, where that angle on the wall above it ends. And we're going to bring this on over right on top of the black stripe. And then from here, we're going to nudge it down 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And place it down. And then we can snap one more in here, again with the angle facing downward, but we're going to bring this up 2 nudges so that the angle continues to make its way up. Now with the 4x8x6 Star Killer half wall tapered, we're going to snap one in right here on the one closest to the wall. We're going to put one more over here on the right. Then we're going to take the half wall tapered without the vent on it, and we're going to snap 2 more of these in right on top of those, but we want to line up with that piece there. We want to make sure that all the angles are flush. You don't want anything hanging down. And then we're going to cap this off using another set of the 4x2x6 tapered half walls. Then we're going to make our way up top here, and where we have this little bit of a step up, we're going to take the 4x2x6 and we're going to bring this all the way back as far as we can. I'm going to raise it up. We're going to nudge this out just where you can see the top of that wall is lined up with those 2 little notches out of the wall in front of it. We're going to take another one and place it right over here. Then with the same walls, we're going to go in between these. We're going to snap into the wall right there. We're going to bring this on over to the left, and then we're going to bring another one over here onto the right-hand side, just having the angles facing upward like that. Now we need to repeat the exact same thing over here on the left side of the ship. So I'm going to go a little bit quicker this time. Again, we're going to place down the pressure plate right here. We're going to go back to the first order half tapered wall. We're going to rotate it to where the angle's facing downward. We're going to bring it right on top of this black piece, and then we're going to nudge it down 1, 2, 3. Place that down. Let's go ahead and remove our pressure plate. Then from here, we're going to go over to the Star Killer half wall tapered, rotate down, attach 2 of these next to each other. Back to the first order half wall, the 4x2x6. Let's place it right there. Then we're going to stack another row of these. We're going to put one here, rotate towards the bottom, and we're going to bring this up 2 nudges. Same thing here, up 2 nudges. We're going to fill in with the less detailed tapered half wall 4x8x6, and then come up top here. We're going to take these again. We're going to line them up with the angles facing outward and just behind those little dots or whatever you want to call them on the walls in front. And take one more set here. We're going to flip it up. Just like that. Now we need to add 2 more of these, and we're going to do them on the back section of the ship. And the way to find our spacing in between each one of these extensions is we're going to take one of the 4x16x6 half walls, and we're going to snap it in right here. Then we're going to go and grab the 4x8x6 and snap one into that. And we're going to take 2 more of the 4x2x6s, and we're going to snap those in right here. Now, this third one we're going to take is going to be the beginning of our wing extension for the rear. So let's place that down, and I'll show you here. We can remove this stuff. This is now going to begin that same exact pattern. We just don't need to use the pressure plate and all that anymore. So let's repeat that one more time. It's going to be one of the 4x8x6. I'm sorry, we're going to do 2 of these. We're going to rotate it down. We're going to attach 2 side by side. And then we're going to cap that off again with the 4x2x6. And let's go ahead and add another row of these. Let's just nudge this up twice. Same thing on this side. Then again, fill this out with the 4x8x6, one without the detail. And let's repeat this over there on the other side. Oh, I almost forgot. We got to do these details here. My apologies. We're going to put this here, rotate this one, and put it here. Again, I'm going quick because we've already gone over this twice. So feel free to kind of slow down the video, pause, and go back and do repeat the steps. But we're going to do the same thing over here. Again, the spacing is going to be a 4x16x6 right here. Then a 4x8x6 half wall here. Then 2 more of the 4x2x6. And then this third one again is where our wing is going to begin. So let's just remove these things in the middle. You can really clear all of this out because that's not going to stay there. Then one last time, we're going to take the 4x8x6 Star Killer half wall. We're going to snap 2 of these in together. Then the 4x2x6 to cap it off. And one more section of these. And then last but not least, again, back to the 4x2x6. We're going to snap in here, rotate where the angle's outward, line up with those dots, and then another set of these with the angles facing up towards the top. If you didn't clear these out, because I didn't do it in the previous sequence, let's go ahead and get rid of this wall as well. We want to have those gaps between both of the wing extensions you can see here. Just make sure that they're lined up even, because if they aren't, you're going to have balancing issues. So go and check, make sure you follow those to a T, and we are ready to put those wings on. Next, we're going to take some 16x2x1s, and we're going to set them right on top of these wing extensions here. Now, you want to make sure that it is flush with the edge here. You don't want any part of that floor hanging off. And then we're going to take 3 more of these. 1, 2, and 3, all the way to the back. Then we're going to take a 4x2x1, and we're going to snap it in right there to close that off. Then we're going to take an 8x2x1. We're going to snap one right here. And then we're also going to snap one in on this side. And we're going to place one more stack of this same pattern on top of each other. Let's start with the 8x2x1 here. Then we can go back to our 16x2x1s. We're going to put 3 of these in total. Sorry, that'd be 4 in total. Then we're going to take the 4x2x1 and then an 8x2x1. And then we're going to repeat that exact same thing over here on the other side. Now, once again, we're going to go with the 16x2x1, and we're going to cover up this wing extension here. Again, not having anything hanging off the edge. We're going to do 3 more here. Let's go ahead and just stack these up while we have them out. I'm going to do that second layer. Then right here on this little part here, we're going to take the 4x2x1s. I'm going to stack 2 of them. Then the 8x2x1s right here. We're going to do the same thing over here on the front end. Now we're going to start in the front right side of the ship when looking from the front, and we're going to go over to the roof pieces here in the first order, and we're going to grab the Star Killer Trim Curved. We've used this plenty of times already throughout this build. And what we're going to do is we're going to rotate to where the angle is facing up, and we're going to bring this and set it right on top of the outside thin floors we just put in. And you don't want it to be hanging off to the right to left or front to back here. And we're going to have 10 of these in total, so that would be number 1. And then we're going to do 9 more by just snapping into the top and bringing this back 2 nudges. And we're going to add, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Then we're going to come down here, and we're going to place a 16x2x1 thin floor on the same thin floor we stacked those up on. But we want the thin floor that we're going to put up is going to be lined up right with the outside edge of this floor I'm currently standing on. So this is how it's going to look. Let's go into floors, 16x2x1. We're going to go ahead and snap this in. We're going to bring it out right here again. We don't want it to go past the outside edge of the floors we're standing on now. We're going to bring this on up until we can snap it in. And we're going to bring these up until we meet the top of the angled pieces to the left there. Now, once you've met the top, let's go ahead and grab a 4x2x1. We're going to go ahead and snap this in, rotate it. We're going to bring it up to the top and fill in that gap. Now we need to repeat this process for all 4 of the wings. However, for the back wing of this right side, we need to use the opposite angle. And what we're going to do, the same thing here. We're going to stack 10 of these up in total, making sure that you're lined up on that outside thin floor. So let's go ahead. I'm going to speed through this part. Feel free to go back to the previous step, pause the video, or whatever it is you need to do to get these done. I don't want to explain this 4 times and make the video longer than it has to be. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Once all 4 of your wing outlines are in, we're going to start here on the front left wing. And then what we're going to do next is take a pressure plate, and we're going to stack this right on the inside of this wing. And then you'll notice here we're actually using the first order trim curved roof piece, but we want to mirror that piece by using the Star Killer trim curve, because we're going to rotate this. Let me get a good angle here so you can see what we're doing. We're going to aim to where the pressure plate meets the back of that piece. We're going to bring this on over and line it up. We're going to stack this right behind it. This is going to create a secondary layer to beef up these wings, and it's going to act as one of the guides we're going to use later in the video. Then from here, all we need to do is repeat these steps on all 4 of the wings by stacking these up and just having them line up in the back, just like this. Now we need to fill in all 4 wings outlines, and we're going to do this using thin floors. Now you can go ahead and use some of the larger floors to get this done. However, they don't have really good texture on them and it makes the wings look a bit flat. So I'm going to go with 16 by 2 by 1s, and we're going to fill this in as much as we can. We'll start at the top here. We're going to put 2 side by side, and then we're going to run these all the way down until we get towards the bottom here. And then what you'll see is once you get towards the bottom though, we cannot fit another 16. So we're going to go with a 12 by 2 by 1 here. Let's put one right in next to it. And then let's run our 16 by 2 by 1s all the way towards the top. Again, there's a ton of different ways you can do this. If you want to go faster by using larger pieces, feel free to do so. Just note that one important thing is you want to make sure whatever pattern you go with your floors, you want to make sure that you follow the same exact pattern and number of pieces for all 4 wings. So let's go ahead and fill those in right now. Once you've completely filled in the outline of all 4 of your wings, next what we're going to do is we're going to take the first order wall corner 2. It's the 2 by 4 by 12. We're going to aim at these walls underneath the wings, and we're going to rotate it to where the actual angle of this wall is facing downward. And we're going to line up the left side with the outer leftmost part of that wing extension we did earlier. We're going to bring this on out, and then we're also going to bring this up until we make contact with the bottom of the wing here. And then once we've got that sitting under the wing, again, this needs to be lined up with the outside edge of this wing. We're going to take one more of these, and we're actually going to snap it into that wall. And we're going to bring this out and up. You want the bottom of the wall to line up with the bottom of your wing. Now let's go ahead and break this one free. Let's snap one in here. Let's make sure that we're flush against the wing. And we're going to continue to bring these back until we get to this point right here. We don't want it to go all the way to the back of the wing. We're going to leave that open there, and we're going to come to the front, and we're going to remove this one. Then we're going to go into the roof section and grab the first order trim corner. It's the 6 by 6 by 2. We're going to snap one of these right on the top. We're going to do one more right in front of it. And we're going to do the same thing over here on the back side. This time, just aim at the bottom of that piece. Make sure we're good and flush and lined up. We're going to do 2 here. It's going to be a little bit tricky. Sometimes go back to your menu and place it down. And then we're going to do another row of these. So we're going to stack and rotate. We'll do the same thing here. They should be looking like that. Then we're going to go back to the walls we used. We're going to snap in and rotate the opposite direction. And then we're going to do this exact same thing over here on the other wing. So feel free to rewind those steps and repeat it here. This video is now getting up over an hour, so if you're still here, you guys are absolute legends. Now into toys and car parts, we're going to grab these vehicle base 3s. What we're going to do with these is we're actually going to place these and tuck them onto every single one of these little kind of like 90-degree corners here that we created when we stacked those angled pieces on the inside. We're going to bring these all the way up until we are like 2 steps down from the top. So we're going to go one more here, and one more here. And you want to make sure that these are actually touching the floor pieces that we did to create our wings. And we're going to do the same thing for all 4 of these wings. So let's go ahead and repeat that right now. Feel free to pause the video and get all of these filled in. Here's how you should be looking now. All 4 wings should have your vehicle base 3s lined on the inside of those little step ups that we're going all the way to the top. And again, we don't want anyone for the last 2 step ups. And then what we're going to do on the inside with each one of these wings is we're going to grab these small balloons, and we're going to fit 3 of these on every single one of these vehicle base 3s for all 4 wings all the way to the top. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Again, feel free to pause the video right now, and then once you've got every single wing lined with balloons, let's go ahead and resume. Now that we've got all of these balloons in, it is looking silly, so we're going to go ahead and cover up all the silliness. And the way we're going to do this is grab the pressure plate, and we're going to put it right here on, it doesn't matter really which wing you start on, because we're going to do this for all 4. It's going to be the second one up here from the bottom on that vehicle base 3. Then we're going to take an 8x8x1 first order floor, and the placement for this is we're going to want to aim right underneath where that pressure plate meets the back of the vehicle base 3. Sometimes it does get a little bit annoying to try to get that lined up. And then we're going to bring this on over. Now take a look at the vehicle base 3 down below underneath this floor piece. We want to be first lined up with the outside edge of it, but then we're going to nudge it over 1 space, and then we're going to bring this thing down and cover up those balloons underneath it. So it's okay. You want to have this little bit of vehicle base 3 exposed here because this is going to give us complete coverage over the balloons underneath it. And then once you have that into position, let's remove that plate. And then we're going to go back to our 8x8x1s. And we're just going to do the same thing here, moving all the way up towards the top until we have complete coverage. Again, allowing a little bit of that vehicle base 3 to peek out from the side. So let's go ahead and do this for all 4 of our wings to cover up all of those weird balloons. Our floor pieces are in place. We are covered up for the most part, but there's a little bit more work to do. And I just realized we're not going to be able to properly cover up this entire top row of balloons. So what you're going to want to do to remove these, let's just knock this piece out. And I apologize for this, but I just realized we went a little bit too high here. I don't want to go back and reshoot those scenes all over again. So I hope you don't mind. So again, just get rid of this vehicle base 3 and this top floor piece here. We're not going to need those anyways. It's going to completely float and fly perfectly without them. Now we can still see the balloons from this angle, so what we're going to do next is take a vehicle base 3, and we're going to place these on the wing directly in front of these balloons. And we're going to do this for every single set of them for all 4 wings. So continue to place these just like this, covering them up for all 4 wings. Pause the video while you're doing that, and then let's go ahead and resume once you're finished. All right, now that we're done with that, we're ready to move on the inside and start adding a ton of balloons. Now, if you don't like the way that this looks, because that inside part ends so abruptly and you have all this open, feel free to just add that design that we're using hiding the balloons and have that all the way towards the top. It's definitely something you can do. It's not going to really impact the performance of the ship. All right, now make your way to the interior of the ship. And remember those vehicle base 3s we lined up in here earlier in the video? That's right. We're going to go ahead and put as many of these balloons as we possibly can on the right and the left side. And then make sure to add these also up here in the front. Put all of them lined up like this. You can see every single one of these has to be completely covered. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Pause the video like we've been doing all along and return once all of these are completely lined with balloons. All right, so once you have every square inch of those vehicle base 3s on the inside covered with balloons, both in the front and these main cargo area here, next what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our small thrusters from Toys and Controls. We're gonna do the same exact thing here. We're gonna line up the entire underneath side, but we're only gonna do the main cargo area. We are not gonna place these underneath the front just yet. So feel free, again, pause the video and make sure that you add these all underneath here. These cannot snap into the bottom, so they do become a bit frustrating to make sure that they stay aligned. So take your time, get that done, pause the video, and return once both sides are complete. And I wasn't kidding. You can see every single part of these vehicle base 3s on just this section, we skipped the front, are lined up with our small thrusters. Now we're gonna add some large thrusters in the back and the front here for turning. So we're gonna get as many of these in here as we can. We're gonna put one right up against this wall piece. We're gonna put another one right down here. We're gonna stack one here. It's like a little backwards L, and we'll do the same thing over here on the other side. Let's add another one. Why not? We want this thing to turn as best as we can. Let's add one more right here. We're gonna come up to the front. We're gonna do the same thing as far forward as we can. I think we could get 3 of these in here. If not, we're gonna add some small thrusters. So we're gonna go as far forward here in the corner as we can. Looks like we can only get 2 of the large thrusters. And then we're gonna put 2 more behind it. Same thing on this bottom row. So we got a grouping of 6 here. Now what we're gonna do is take some small thrusters. Same thing, we're gonna aim in the corner here. We're gonna put as many of these as we can following this strip. So it looks like we can get 6 right under here. Let's go to the other side and do the same thing. Then back on the outside and the inside of these wings here, we're gonna add some more turning assistance thrusters. So we're gonna place 3 large thrusters. We're gonna do 2 stacked on top of one another, and then we're gonna do a 3rd one right here. Almost kind of like Mickey Mouse pancake sideways. We're gonna do the same thing here on the inside of this wing. And we're gonna do it also on the back 2 wings. Then in the rear of the ship and inside this little box, we're going to take some large thrusters and we're going to start up in the corners as far as we can go. We're going to put one on this side and then another one over here. And then we're going to create this little kind of staggered grouping of 3 here. Just like that. We're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Then we're going to put one directly in the middle of these and another staggered grouping of 3. Just like that. Now let's fill in the remainder of the gaps where we can. Now you can see here, we can't place any up top there. But what we can go is right here, in between these here, on both sides. Right in the middle here. Now we can do this back end one of 2 ways. You can leave it open or you can close it in using the 16 by 2 by 1s. I just highly recommend if you do close it up with the floor pieces as far back as you could possibly go. Now, I'm going to show you a really cool design, though. If you have these pieces, I definitely recommend doing it. So we're going to start by going into our lights. And down here, we're going to find these little wall lights. They're the cargo bay triple sconce from Mos Eisley. We also have a couple of other blue options, but I don't know if we're going to be able to squeeze these in. But these sconces, you can stack one here and one here. And it creates a really nice lighting effect. And then what we'll do is we're going to cover this up using the 16s. Now again, I recommend going as far back as we possibly can until you hit those. Then we're going to take another one here and we're just going to stack 3 more here to cover it up completely. Then over in the decorations and outdoor section, if you have the Droid Shop oil bath tank, we're going to bring this all the way out to the outside. We're going to nudge it to the right 1-2 spaces. And then we're also going to do that over here. Nudge it in 2 spaces. This looks really cool. And quite honestly, I think in the reference images I've seen, these things have these like blue things on the back of them anyways. So definitely works out nice if you have those pieces. If not, you can find some other things to replace them. Now we are in the home stretch. We are almost there. We just got a little bit of final detailing. Then we'll do tuning and balancing. And we will be well on our way to be flying the ZETA Class ship around our LEGO Fortnite worlds. Holy smokes, this has been a doozy. Let's wrap her up. So let's drop down underneath the ship here, and what you'll see is we have this little bit of a gap we need to close up. So let's take the 12 by 2 by 1 floor from the first order kit. Let's bring this center there, and let's just snap 2 of those in together. And then what we're going to do too is we're going to add another layer of flooring underneath here. And the reason for that is we want to strengthen up the bottom. So when we land, if we hit anything, we're not going to be breaking through the floor. So what we're going to do, again, we're going to go back to the trusty pressure plate here. So let's snap this down underneath. Now we're going to use some larger floors from first order. We're going to grab the 16 by 16 by 1s. We're going to flip these upside down. We're going to bring them lined up with the outside edge, and we're going to bring them as far forward as we can while lining up with this piece here. We can also do the same thing back with the 12 by 2 by 1s here underneath the ones that we just put in to complete that gap. And now from here, let's go ahead and remove our pressure plate. And we're going to take the 16 by 16s. And we're going to bring these all the way back until we hit the car jack. That's going to be in the way for now, but once we take this off the car jack, we're going to be able to fill in that gap. So now once we get to this point, let's just bring these back. Once you can snap it down, let's do so. I just so happened to line it up perfectly. That doesn't always happen. But if you don't have it lined up perfectly, let's just use the piece that we put in. You can nudge it into position, whatever you need to do. And we're going to place that down just like that. Now once the car jack's removed, and we can get this up on some balloons, the 16 by 16 by 1 is going to be too big. So we'll fill that in with some other floor pieces. But for now, let's leave that alone. So we're going to give this thing some legs. We need to protect the underbelly. And what we're going to use is in the first order table section, we have the first order gallery counter. We're going to rotate this vertically here, or I should say kind of parallel to the outside of the ship. And we're going to go ahead and nudge this over one. We're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. We're actually, quite frankly, we're going to do this in all 4 of the corners. So let's go to the rear of the ship as well. We're going to line it up in the corner, and we're just going to nudge it in a space. We're going to do the same thing right here. And then underneath this in our table section, we're going to grab the first order work surface. This is made of both metal plates and obsidian and is very durable. And we're just going to stack this right in the center and make sure we're center right to left and front to back. We're going to put these on all 4 of these legs. Now on both sides of the front of the ship here, we're going to take the Star Killer half wall tapered, and we're going to place this right here. Pretty much like the bottom of this section of the wall is going to be lined up with this part that's bumping out here. Or I should say right where those brown walls start. And then we're going to place another one right on top of it. Only this time we're going to nudge it up 2 spaces and place it down. We're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Then we're going to cover up that gap with the 8 by 2 by 1 floors. So we're going to place one here. We'll do 3 in total, and then repeat this over here on the other side. Now let's add our blasters to the side of the wings and the front of the ship. And the way we're going to do this is just grab any 2 by 2 by 12 corner or pillar. And we're going to aim in this section here on the wall. If you aim here, it's not going to be the right orientation. We want it kind of sticking out like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up as far as we can go. Once you can't place it down anymore, go ahead and bring this down. And then we're going to find this black section here, that little stripe. We're going to come right behind this, but then we're going to nudge to the right 4 spaces. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to place it down. And then right underneath, we're going to place a pressure plate. And now put this kind of out a little bit more like this. And then back in your first order kit, we're going to go to the decorations. And right here inside of outdoor, we have both direction first order turrets. First, we're going to start with the right side. And we're going to aim it right where that pressure plate meets the bottom of that. And we're going to rotate this to where these are facing forward. We're going to try to go out to the right as far as we can go. Now, right there, it's not going to like it anymore. Just bring it back, and then we're going to nudge it all the way forward, and we're going to place it down. And now we're going to do this exact same thing over on the opposite side. Now, this time, instead of using the right turret, we are going to be using the left turret. Now we're going to do the same thing on the wings, and what we're going to do though is with our pillar, we're going to come lined up right over the top of the front side of this little like bump out here underneath it. And we're going to bring this up. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 nudges. Place it down. Then we'll put our pressure plate underneath. And again, we're going to go on the right side. We're going to grab the right turret. We're going to aim here. We're going to rotate. We're going to bring this thing back. And then we're going to repeat that step on the other side. Another optional detail is you can actually add a little bit more on the back end of the wing here by outlining with thin floors. Feel free to use the gray ones, or you can also do with the black, which I think looks really good. Now we're going to need a wrench for the tuning of our thrusters, and what we're going to do is up on top here, this is all personal preference, but personally for me, on this front left wing, I like to tune these to channel 1 and turn off channel 3. And then whatever you tune this to, if you do 2, 3, 1, whatever it is, we want to match the opposing corner. So this will be like the back left wing. We want to match that tuning here. So again, this one and the one over in this other corner are channel 1. And now on the opposite side, we're going to go ahead and turn this to channel 2 and turn off channel 3. And then we're going to come to this other corner, and these are also going to go to channel 2 and turn off channel 3. And what this is going to do is that one over here, if we hit channel 2, if that turns it to the right, this is going to pull the back end to the left and assisting that turn. Same thing with the other thrusters. And then now we got to make sure we remember what we did on the outside, because we have to match on the inside. So if this is channel 1, my front left and back right are going to be channel 1s, and then the opposite corners are going to be channel 2. So remember that as you make your way onto the inside. And now here, these are all going to be channel 1 and turn off channel 3. Same thing with all these little ones underneath. It's best if you kind of just go against this wall here. Now on the opposite end, these are going to be channel 2. Turn off channel 3. Now in the back corners, again, this over here is channel 1. We want to go to this opposite corner, and we're going to move these to channel 1, turning off channel 3. And then these over here are going to go to channel 2 and turn off channel 3. And yeah, now for the most grueling part of this entire video is every single one of these thrusters that we put underneath here have to be tuned to channel 4. So let's go ahead and bear in the pain together. Pause the video because this takes a little bit of time. Just be patient though. This is what is required to have this thing actually function and fly. Do your best not to miss any one of the thrusters, but if you do, that's okay, because in a moment I'm going to show you how you can test everything before we take off. And yeah, have fun. Now that all the tuning on the interior is done, let's go ahead and take a couple more of these large thrusters. Let's pack as many as we can get in here. I think we're gonna get 6 in total. This is in the front of the ship, by the way. I just decided last minute, let's add a little bit more speed. Why not? So for the ones we just put in and all of the ones that we covered up in the back, those are just going to stay to channel 3 because those are going to be the forward thrusting thrusters. Now, we are in a position now to start working on balancing. So we can go ahead and finally take this thing off the car jack. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now, if you built on the beach like I did, it's going to take off on you, and that is totally fine. If you're in survival, turn on flying. If you're in sandbox, you're okay. You can just fly up there and do the next steps. If you're in expert, I recommend putting down one of these bounce pads. And we're going to go in, fly up onto the ship. Just make sure it's on its highest setting. Now, you're going to have to break your way through by destroying one of these floor pieces, because we do need to get on the inside here. We're going to work on making sure that the top of this thing and everything on the inside is good in balance and it lays flat in the air. But before we balance, while this thing is up in the air here, we want to close in this gap. We're going to do that by using 8x8x1s in one section here. We can get 4 of these in total across. And then we're going to go to our 16x2x1s, and we're going to put 3 of these across here. And as you can see here on the underside, I did add some additional details because it does look a bit plain and flat. So if you're not into that look there, I also recommend while this is in the air to start adding some details underneath. What I did here was I added some of those roof trim pieces on the outsides, and then I did something very similar to like we did up on the top. Now for balancing, I highly recommend just getting rid of the pickaxe. You don't want to accidentally break something. Now you can tell when we're on the outside here, we are having the front end lift a lot more than the back. So what I recommend doing is we're going to start by removing some of the balloons in the front end. Don't worry about those ones all the way under there. We're going to start right about here, and we're going to start to take one set of balloons out on both sides, and we're just going to continue to check until we have some more flattening out. We don't want this thing in the air like this, so that didn't really do much. Let's go back on the inside. We're just going to continue to remove sets of 2 until we get this front end to start moving down a bit. Got a couple more to go. Now you can see this thing is nice and flat, or at least as flat as we need it to be right now. So in all, it looks like we removed about 6 balloons from the front end here. So let's go ahead and do that. And although we were balanced in the air, we also needed to get this thing grounded so we can land in every single biome in the map. And the way I did that was back on the inside. You can see I removed a total of 10 more balloons from the front section of the main cargo area. So we've got 5 from this side that got removed, 5 from this side, and then in the rear of the ship here, I went ahead and removed 3 from the back on this side and 3 from the back on this side. That was able to get us balanced into the ground. Now for our final steps of balancing, we're going to place a small car seat up on the top of the ship. You can operate this from the interior too, but I find it very difficult to see what's going on because of the size of the ship. But what we're going to do now is we're going to operate channel 4. This is going to lift us into the air, and even though we're balanced from a balloon perspective, we have a little bit too much power in the back of the ship for the thrusters. So what that lets us know that we need to do is we're going to start to go ahead and ground this ship. And we're going to head on the inside and start by working the way in the back and removing some of those small thrusters. And to get that perfect balance in the air when lifting, we're going to remove 8 of the small thrusters from the rear on both the left and right sides. When traveling forward, I was getting a lot of the front end lifting, so I took 3 more large thrusters and I placed them all in between all the ones we have here up towards the front. So definitely do that as well. And last, and certainly not least, we need to cover up all the balloons. So let's go ahead and do that. It's actually really simple. So we're going to go into car parts and we're going to use vehicle base 3s. We're going to slap one right on the roof right here, pretty much all the way up against this wall. I'm going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Then we're also going to place one right up the center here in front of these balloons. So once you hit the balloons, just come back one like that. Then we're going to go to first order kit, and we're going to go on over to our floor pieces. And we're going to grab these 8x8x1s, and we're just going to put this right underneath there. And we're going to have to nudge out of the way of those thrusters there. So just bring this over to the left, and we're just going to continuously cover up the balloons until we reach the back. And then we're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Then we're also going to do this on the front, but this time what we're going to do, instead of putting this center on here, we're going to move it forward, and we're going to actually bring this over to the left, and we're going to find the middle, and we're going to place another one here. And then right behind it, we're going to switch on over to the 8x2x1. I'm going to bring this right up the middle. Now these aren't going to be fully covered, but it'll do the job. Then let's take one more vehicle base 3, and let's just go ahead and squeeze this right in the middle here, in between the outsides, and that center block. And then over here on the left and right side, we can take one more 8x2x1, and we're just going to squeeze in here and fill up that gap. And apologies for all the adjustments, but I logged out and back in, and the front end was dipping a little bit when going forward. So we're going to remove this middle thruster there up in the front. Now we should be all good and balanced and ready to go ahead and fly this thing around. Let's hop in and talk about controls. Channel 4 is going to lift us up into the air. Channel 1 is going to turn us over to the left, while Channel 2 is going to turn us over to the right. Channel 3 is going to have us flying forward. And then once you let off Channel 4, it's going to slowly descend down to the ground. If you want to go even higher, just continue to toggle on Channel 4 until you reach maximum heights. And if you want this thing to turn more, just add more turning thrusters, follow the tuning. And if you want it to go faster, just add more thrusters to move this thing forward. If you enjoyed today's build, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already. Also, check out some of the other videos that are being shown on screen right now. YouTube thinks you're going to like them. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch you all in the next one.